And to help us wade through all of things Election Day, we're joined by our political analyst, Brian Sobel. Brian, thanks for being here with us.
My pleasure.
Let's start with Prop F. This one has been quite contentious. This could change the way short-term rentals are handled, like Airbnb in the city of San Francisco. Break this one down
Well,
for us.
it reduces the number of days that somebody can rent out their place. It adds a number of new restrictions, and this has started, as you know, all of the money being thrown in. Now, those people who are against the proposition include the San Francisco Democratic Party, the Republican Party, and a whole list of people because they say it's too restrictive. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of this.
Is Airbnb taken away from the housing stock from San Francisco? That's one of the arguments being thrown out, that there's a housing crunch in the city and this is part to blame.
Well, I think the numbers can be broken down either way on that. I think more importantly, it's a political argument over how you compete against hotels and other people in the city. I mean, there's a lot of other issues at stake here.
Well, someone argued, just like Uber and the taxi drivers,
Right.
that Airbnb and those folks should have to play by the same game,
right.
to have the same rules as hotels would have.
Right, Kiva, that's exactly it. And so a lot of times when you go to the polls, you don't know about the underlying argument that goes into why these things end up on the ballot. But lots of money involved, a lot of advertising being put into this.
All right, another kind of thing that I wrote down here is the race for San Francisco sheriff. Ross Mercury versus Vicky Hennessy, and I wrote a list down. I was saying he's attached to the Steinle story, but then you start thinking about how many other stories that the current sheriff is attached to. We had the patient at San Francisco General,
Yes.
who deputies could not find. We had the accusation of his deputies running a fight ring inside the jail.
Right.
And his gun?
The gun, the driver's license. Is he going to win tomorrow with this? And if he does, what does that say?
Well, incumbents do very well, typically, but he is so high profile, so many people know his name and, frankly, know his story, that he could be in some trouble. There's no question about that. Vicky Hennessy has
What do we know about her?
Well, she has a long history in the Sheriff's Department. She rose to the #3 spot in the Sheriff's Department.
Has the support of the mayor.
Has the support of the mayor, Ed Lee.
She was interim sheriff at one point.
She was interim sheriff
Chief
in
deputy.
2012. Yeah, no, she has the credentials, and she says, hey, we need to bring stability back to the Sheriff's Department, and Ross Mercury is not that person. So it'll be interesting to see where the voters go tomorrow. But again, incumbency is a big thing.
How have the campaigns been for the two? What have you seen?
A good fight. She has raised more money than he has, and so we'll see how it plays out tomorrow.
Does it say to have the support of the mayor? Does that really mean something, you think, for voters when they go to the poll and go, hey, Mayor Lee supports Hennessy, I'm going to vote for Hennessy?
Well, in San Francisco, it means more than in a lot of other cities. It's sort of like the argument over endorsements in newspapers and that sort of thing. For years and years, people thought if a newspaper endorsed so-and-so, they were the winner. We're seeing trends way away from that now because it comes down to a trust issue. What is the real ulterior motive of, say, the editorial staff of a newspaper in supporting somebody? And so people kind of look at that and say, well, I don't know if I buy into that. Maybe I go in a different direction.
Well, we have been at least talking about this election for a while, but the problem is actually getting people to care and getting people to actually go to the polls to vote.
Yep.
Well, that's always the problem. And I think anytime you're in an off-year election, that is, it's not a presidential election, it's really hard to get people out. And so to energize them, you have to find different ways to do that. You
talked about trends before we go. San Mateo County, tomorrow, mail-in ballots only.
Yes.
I mean, this is something I didn't know was really going on, and so I started reading up on it this week.
Well,
last week.
San Mateo County has about 350,000 registered voters. They have all been mailed ballots, and that's a new thing. Now there are some places you can go and drop them off, but the encouragement is fill out your ballot at your leisure, really take your time with it, send it back in.
So does that boost voting, or do you think it reduces voting when it comes down to it?
We're not sure yet where that's going.
Right.
The world has changed in electioneering. In the old days, you had absentee ballots. Remember those?
Yes,
but that tended to favor the elderly and others who couldn't get to the polling station. Now with mail-in ballots, everybody's got an opportunity to fill it out. And so now what you're seeing is the numbers that come back from mail-in ballots, which are released early, are practically the same as what ends up being the poll numbers as well.
Across the state,
Okay,
all
we'll
around?
have to see if
Think
it
soon?
becomes a
Down the road?
trend.
Yeah, oh yeah, we have to go there. We have seen dramatic savings in not having poll workers out there and that sort of thing. So it's the way to go.
Got it.
Okay,
All right,
Brian Sobel.
Yeah,
Thanks,
absolutely.
Brian.
My pleasure.
Thank you.